It's really interesting.
I scooped you last night.
Nick, that sounded fresh.
No, it didn't.
What did you say? Oh, you scooped me last night on his show. I thought he was getting fresh. He had Catherine Glass on his Mainstream Metaphysics, and they talked a little bit about the scoop at the beginning of the show. And I really appreciated that too.
That's the big news.
It is the big news. Since 2013, on that first camping trip, that first solo camping trip, I started the idea of my book. And I'm telling you, it has been a process.
It's the road to Mordor.
It's the road to Mordor, he says. And it has been a massive process. It's just been 6 years alone with the publisher. And so it finally happened last Thursday that I signed all the final. I am done. It is done. And we are ready to go paperwork. And I'm telling you, that is like the best feeling. The next best feeling is going to be the one where we actually take the picture where I take a picture or a video of me opening the book for the first time and probably crying because it'll be emotional because it's a big deal. So you ready for the interesting stuff? People. So here's the story. The very next morning, as I am waiting outside for a store to open just before 9 o'clock in the morning, I get this phone call from this woman. And to be clear, Pauline stepped in at first because people call and they say, hello, I'm looking for Audrey Newmont. And I'm all like, is this a solicitation? And she's like, no, actually, my name is Kelly Sullivan, and I am with the Strand Bookstore in New York City, and I am the chief retail officer. And then she starts telling me that they appreciate my book and that they really would like to have me in New York with my book. And she sends me this email. And I'm telling you, in the email, she said, we would like to start with 2,000 copies. And I'm telling you, I was kind of losing my mind. I was like, what just happened here? I just signed the finished thing and this is happening. What is going on? And I was, you know how you have that kind of surreal experience, like what is going on here? Well, then later in the day, I get 2 more phone calls. One of them from this guy who's a publisher and a marketing person in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And my book was chosen out of 80 books. They could choose 10. And it was chosen to be featured in the LA Times Book Festival that comes up in the spring at USC. And another call for that. And now since then, another call for that. But here's the story. I was so excited. I'm calling all my friends that know anything about books. And I'm like, I really don't know anything about this world. And I need to know because it looks like things are getting interesting. So I talked with a few of my friends. And by the way, if you're one of those people I talked to, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And hi, Judy, I see you're on. So I start looking at this, and then I get this woman on the phone, and she's, telling me all of this stuff. And they have a printing place there in New York City, which I guess what could make it very reasonable for the price that they're saying that I have to pay because I'm the author. And I'm looking at all this and I was like, okay. And I'm just like, all right, so I'll talk to you soon because I have to go now. And I pondered all the stuff she was saying. And then I called her again. And I'm telling you, it was like, your intuition kicks in. And it's like, there's just something not right here. So I went onto the Strand Bookstore website. And I'm looking everywhere because a lot of times you can see the employees. And I'm like, I want to see that this woman is on here. And you would think that, they would have the employees. And to be clear, I didn't see many employees on the Strand bookstores, but I kept looking because there was something just not feeling right about it. And I found it. I found that thing that says scam alert for authors with regard to publishing. hmm It even had her email at info. And I'm telling you, it was like very interesting because there was a part of me that was really angry. And then there was a part of me that was, oh man, I was excited about this. And there were all these different emotions that went on with it. And so I've been with them for a couple of days now, and it's been a very interesting thing. And I decided I'm going to keep the enthusiasm because it is a really unique book. It's very different. There's nothing like it out there. I literally took all of the science and the spirituality, the mind, the body, all of this information, and I put it into a game format. So it's less than 100 pages, and I have pictures in there that help to, you know, get a different perspective or perception with it. And, I made it into this game format. So it's a very, very unique and user friendly book. And I thought, well, I'm going to keep the enthusiasm because it is a good book. And if anybody knows anybody, it's going to be an actual board game and it's going to be an app. And I have two books behind it that are already in my head that need to get onto paper. So there's a part of me that's like, it is a good book, but this girl, this woman, I'm going to have to deal with her. And I'm so excited to call her. I haven't had a minute yet, but I'm going to call her and I'm going to ask her a few more details. And then I'm going to tell her a little what for. I'm going to let her know, look, you got to be a little bit more savvy about this because it was a little too obvious in certain things. And she'll probably hang up before I get too far with it. But, there's a part where it's like, do you have to like scam people to make money in the world? I mean, is it necessary? And what happens if you get caught? Because I think there's probably something I could do to get her caught. I don't know if I'm up for that, but it's like there's so many people getting scammed right now. And I wrote some notes about that because, I think all of us have been scammed in some way, shape, or form. In fact, we're all being scammed to an extent at the moment. So when you're being scammed, it's like when I said at the beginning, there was that emotion that happened where I was pretty pissed. And it was like a deflate. And I was like, I'm not going to let this person, you know, run my emotions around like this. I'm going to like literally look at it. And it's like, what do I want to do with it? But I was thinking of being scammed, and I want you to think if you've ever been scammed in your life. And if you have, maybe write them in the comments. We have people coming to us all the time that get scammed in various ways. I mean, I can't even express to you all the different ways, so I'm not going to go into the details of it. But I mean, people getting milked out of money for, I mean, all different kinds of ways. In fact, my daughter one time got scammed. I had to pay it because she was very young. And I was like, we're just going to learn from this lesson and never do that again. And there's a part of it when you get scammed, the feelings come up of anger, obviously, rage. Here's the interesting feelings. The feeling of guilt can come up, shame, remorse, and betrayal. And it's really important to get, we all get scammed on some level. There are all these different games that people play. So when there is a moment where you have been scammed, when you stay in the anger about it, instead of just learning from it, when you stay in the anger of it, you stay in the scam. When you stay in all of those hard feelings about it, not only have they taken probably your money, maybe other things, but then they're taking your life on a level. Because when we're in the feelings that we're in, they're creative in our experience. So if you're in that feeling of all those things that I just said, then the scam keeps on playing. So I got to thinking about this, and it's like, when we have been scammed, so what are the actions that we can do? And first one is be aware. There's scams going all the time. In fact, one of the friends that I called was like, Audrey, there's a lot of people out there that want to take your money. And so you really want to be careful about that. And instead of getting excited and saying, oh my God, this sounds like such a great deal, I'll take it. I listened to her, and I'm glad that she said that. I had a feeling about it anyway, but I'm glad that she said it because that increased my awareness. So I'm in the moment of still being very excited about the book, but wait a minute, let's look at this a little more carefully. So being aware, following our intuition. My intuition was kicking in, and it was like something just doesn't feel right. And so listen to that. There's that higher part of us, the number one driver. And when that driver is giving a bit of direction, a little bit of a nudge, we want to listen. That is the driver that sees the whole road, that they see everything and know where we're going. So when we're able to follow that intuition and trust our instincts and our feelings, then you're taking it to the next level. Because there was an instinct that was going, I'm not so sure about this, but I really wanted to be sure. In fact, I went to a party on Sunday and I was so excited. I'm telling all these people, right? I had this happen with the Strand bookstore. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then there's a part of it afterwards where it's like, shit, now I just went and told all those people that the Strand bookstore wants 2,000 of my books. And then I got to thinking about it, and it's like, well, it's not such a bad thing because a few of those people literally brought the book up on Amazon, and I think they might have bought it. So it was good for me to talk about the book. And I'm out here just basically saying it didn't happen. It's not true in that particular situation. But there's that part of it where I was feeling like, oh man, I kind of look a little silly getting so excited about that. And I thought, actually, I don't know that I look silly. I think they look really ridiculous. So it's not about me and how I look. Anybody would get excited about that, especially when you have spent all these years putting something together. So I had to look at that and be like, all right, so I went to a party and I told people about it. And I also called quite a few people that I am close with on the phone and was like, oh my God, you can't even believe what just happened. So there's that part of making it okay to have been scammed or almost scammed.